Hoovie just dropped off this, I don't know what it is. It's a mixture of 3 cars. Today we're going to discover together how is this made and what exactly is it. Let's get started. This is what Hoovie calls the Grand Camino, because it's a mixture of 3 different cars. Up front, we have 1986 Buick Regal with a 305 V8. The back half, which you guys probably didn't notice until we're bringing it up, is an El Camino. Yes, this is a tonneau cover over a truck bed, basically. But yet it's themed like a 3rd car, a Buick Grand National. Some of you guys follow the Facebook group, Why Ruin Classics? Is this ruined? Or is it cool? Is it a classic? You guys let us know in the comments. I guess all we can do is start looking around it and show you all the different things that came together to make this car. Let's start up front. So you can see it kind of looks like a Buick Regal, but we do see a GNX emblem on the front. And of course it's black. And the license plate also says GNX. As we go down the side, you're going to see a lot of things start to change. On the side we have these louvers right here in the fender. We have some wheels that have a GNX emblem on them. The paint on is actually pretty good, nice black color. But here's where it really starts to get weird. It's really long in the back. When it drove up, I thought it was a Grand National until I saw the back and I was like, wow, that's really long. And it has a GNX sticker also in the rear quarter window. But as we come to the back, it gets even stranger. Looks like a normal rear end on one of these Buicks until you take a look and you see there's hinges underneath the taillights, big hinges. So we're not going to open up anything yet and show you how this thing works. Let's let Mrs. Wizard show you guys in the interior. It actually looks nothing like a Grand National in the interior.
Welcome, ladies and gents, to this very interesting little car we have here today. And the odometer says 25,672. But I'm not sure if that's 125,000 or just 25,000. And, well, that's only going to be for the front of the car, not the back of the car, because I don't know if we can ever find out how many miles, well, the bed of the car, I don't know. But as you can see, our gauge cluster is not typical of Grand National. You're going to see that this is very much a Regal interior. So we look at that dash. It is in great condition, and they have added the Grand National sticker to the dash as well. But again, it's just a sticker, and its days are probably numbered because I've talked to Hoovie in April, and they're not so fond of that. Our HVAC system is very classic for the 1980s. Sliders and very simple push buttons. Very easy to use and very easy to operate. We do have a lovely Valvoline vintage air freshener as well, and I don't know if it's really doing much, but at least it's there. Oh, I guess shift happens and it falls off apparently. So I'm not so sure why or where that air freshener came from, but shift happens. We do have a very plastic, very classic to that era of floor mat, but it's not very big and might be nicer, but we do have a new carpet down below. I would not think that this black would have been original to the car originally. The seats are like sofas. They are very plush, very nice, and do come with a very small little armrest in the center. Our door card is gray velour as well. It has nice stitching to create nice little columns on the door as well. It does appear to be missing one of the little covers right here, which you may be able to find on eBay. But the leather strap they use to close the door is in really good condition. These are very common to break over time, over years, and it does have powered windows. We don't have a back seat. They've taken that part out, and we do have part of the bed that does extend into the car. So I guess we'll have to see what's underneath this section when we open up the tonneau cover that we can see through that back window. Our headliner's in really good condition. I like that they have not moved the light, and so now the light is nicely illuminating the now back shelf trunk of the car. That's what we'll call it. But we do have a nice, lovely sea of gray. No marks, no blemishes up there. As we look at our steering wheel, This is not a Grand National steering wheel. No, this is a Regal steering wheel. So there are some areas that scream Grand National, some that scream Buick Regal, and some of them that are going to go with Chevy El Camino. So let's go see what's going on with the junk in the trunk of this car.
All right, guys, so now it's time to open up the back end and show you why the hinges are back here as well. So step number one, pull open the cover. You can see it's a custom handmade tonneau cover with hinges and actual gas struts on it. There's some rags and things in here that they use to clean the car, but there's actually a whole photo display here that shows all the steps involved. You can see they started out with a Regal, and it looks like they somehow grafted it into an El Camino frame or something like that, and then started theming it like a Buick Grand National as they painted it and set up the styling on it. It's really kind of a cool little list of steps that they went through. And we see here they got it mostly together and it looked like it was ready for paint. They were getting things ready to paint it black. They primered it here and the photos stop after getting it painted. So there's actually more to it than just this opening. This opens as well. A truck tailgate. And that's as far as it goes there. The cables stop it from going any further. We can see a lot of the body work that they did here to make this all come together. But it's basically like a pickup truck. But it's a Grand National. But it's an El Camino. But it's a Regal. It's kind of strange. Go ahead and get this all closed up. Then we'll go to the business end where the engine is and see even more differences from a Grand National. All right, let's go ahead and get this hood open here and go ahead and, whoa!
Whoa. Are you okay, Wizard? Did you get hurt?
Man, that thing really, I mean, it's on Viagra. It really came alive, didn't it, Mrs. Wizard?
It definitely jumped up there.
Wow.
I could have dented your beard.
I'm glad it didn't hit me in the chin or something. It could have. Man, they got some serious gas struts on that thing. Anyways, so unlike a Buick Grand National that has a turbo 3.8 V6, this has a small block Chevy. This is not a Grand National at all. Look here, guys. 5.0, a 305 even. It has a classic 305 Chevy engine. 350 is really more popular, but 305s were used a lot in the 80s. And a Grand National has fuel injection, multi-port fuel injection. Let's see what this has. Good old Quadrajet. They're actually very good carburetors. One of the best carburetors you can buy. Very, very efficient when they want to be, and also lots of power when you need that as well. When they're set up right. Most people can't set them up right. But yeah, old carburetor technology. Nothing fuel injected here. Go ahead and get this put back on. I took the whole center stem out because I know from experience that the top threads are mangled and the wing nut won't come all the way off. There we go. Not only is it really strange, but it also had some issues that are kind of strange. He brought it in with the AC not working. Also, he had some issues with some exhaust leaks. The blower motor wouldn't work on high. He wanted an oil change and just general check over. But as you can see under the hood, Junior Mint has gone to work and flushed the entire AC system out. The old compressor was locked up solid. We got a new receiver dryer, a new orifice tube, which you can't see, it's under here. Flushed all the old oil out, flushed everything out, converted it to an R134 friendly oil, and also converted the system to R134. And it works very well now. Nice cold AC. Now when I went to order these parts, as you can imagine, you're just like, well, do I look it up as an El Camino? Or a Grand National? Or a Regal? Actually, this area right here is 86 Buick Regal. So I ordered it as such. All the parts I ordered are just common GM parts. This got the pancake AC compressor, which they fail a lot. They always did fail a lot. Everything under here is just standard GM stuff. It's nothing strange. What's strange is what they've done with the rest of the car. But we have working AC now. The blower motor would work on all speeds except for high, and let me show you what fixed that. And yes, we're still in the engine bay. We don't have to go under the dash because if it had evaporator core issues, it's not even in the dash. I love this about the old days on cars. The evaporator core is right here. So you can see here the evaporator core is inside this box, and it's a lot easier to get to. I don't have to pull the whole freaking dash out to get to it. And right here, this blower relay is all that was wrong to make the blower go to high. Once we replaced it, it immediately started working again. So just a relay solved that, nothing serious. So he has working AC, his blower motor works on high again. The exhaust leak, I'm not sure if he wants to dive in that far or not, I'll have to see, but I'll show you what I found on the exhaust leak. Something I find very common when people put custom headers on their engines is that the bolts back out or the torque loosens up over time. It's very common for headers that have been on for years to start leaking, and that's what's going on there. We can try tighten up some of the bolts, see if that'll help. If tightening it down doesn't work, it means the gaskets could be blown out. I'll have to remove the manifolds from the head, put new gaskets in, or at least back them off a little bit. And it's not too big of a job, I just don't know how far Hoovie wants to go. I'll have to let him know. One other thing is it has the components for cruise control, but they're not currently hooked up. Let me show you. You can see there's the vacuum servo there, a vacuum line is missing from the top, and also the linkage to the throttle quadrant on the carburetor is missing. Whether it would work, I don't know, since this car is kind of a conglomeration of multiple cars. But we'll see if Hoovie wants to mess with that or not. He may not even want to mess with that. So let's get this thing on the lift and take a look underneath and see if we can see some of the areas where they kind of melded two different cars together or how they did it. So we'll put it on the 4-post lift over here. See if I can get this closed.
Oh, be careful. I don't want it to eat you.
There we go. All right, let's get it on the lift. In all actuality, I mean, we say this is Hoovie's car, but it's actually his fiancée, April's car. This is her baby. This is the Grand Camino that she loves to drive. You guys have probably seen them on Good Morning YouTube. If you haven't already, you should click the link in the description below. It takes to that channel. And they have really good videos on current events, automotive changes, and some of the ways cars are being made. All kinds of different topics they talk about. So go check out Good Morning YouTube. It's really cool. I definitely keep up with it. So let's take a look at April's Grand Camino here. Everything here looks standard, but I do see some new sheet metal, some paintwork, some new screws. Some things were changed up here in the front fascia. You can see some brand new headlight buckets and everything. This is all standard Buick Regal condenser, radiator, engine. All these different parts here are pretty standard Buick Regal. And then there's the oil pan. We can see it has an oxygen sensor. It's kind of a feedback system for the carburetor to kind of help with fuel economy and whatnot. I remember when they came out with those. It's kind of an interesting setup. It's got an O2 sensor, but it's still carbureted. Here's a standard GM transmission. I don't know if that's a 200 R4, 700, or what that is, but you guys can let us know in the comments what you think it is. We have a homemade hanger here hanging up the exhaust. We have, looks like they replaced the cross member here to hold up the transmission. We do see a rust repair in this passenger footwell. They've actually cut out a rusty area and welded in a new piece and sealed it off with some silicone or some kind of body putty or something. It has some Flowmasters on it. Drive shaft is good. I don't see any seams or anything where they put the two together. I don't know how they did that. As we come back to the rear axle, we do see some drum brakes and some air shocks, some load level assist. It looks like the lines go to actually the fuel filler cap up there where you can fill this thing with air. We'll show you when we get this thing back on the ground. So everything looks pretty standard underneath. I'm not seeing any cutting or splicing or frame weird modifications going on. Let's take a look at the back. Looks like a standard GM fuel tank, but as we get to the rear bumper where we saw it has hinges and all kind of modifications, I see some things that are kind of strange. Right here, we can see it's a wooden 2x4. There's a spacer between this and the bumper to kind of get the spacing right. I guess sometimes you just go with what works, but wood is not very long lasting. It could start to compress or rot over the years. Same thing's going on over here, a piece of wood. So I guess it works. And then they have the whole modified hinge assembly and everything that's up in here. You can see one right here and one on the other side as well. So the only weird thing we saw on the bottom was the 2x4s or the blocks or whatever those things are in the back. The rest looks pretty standard. So let's get this thing on the ground. So I promised you guys I'd show you where you fill it up with air, which is actually at the fuel filler door. Right here. There's a little Schrader valve. You can pump air into there and raise the rear end. If you load some heavy objects into the bed, you can level it back out. I'll get this thing off the lift and we can finish out this video. This is definitely the strangest, most common car I've ever seen as far as all the parts are common stuff. There's really not a whole lot of special made, special parts and anything. What do you guys think about April's Grand Camino? I think it's really cool. No, obviously GM didn't make one of these. This is some special made project. And actually go check out Good Morning YouTube. They actually talk about the story behind the person who made it, why it was made. All those different things can be answered on that channel. Again, the link is in the description below. It's a really good channel to watch. Go check it out. And definitely wanted to get a video before this leaves. It's actually getting close to being done and show you the really cool modified project. Normally, I don't work on modified vehicles for customers. Obviously, for Hoovie and April, I will. So, I think it's really cool. I really like it. If you're curious what kind of tools we're going to use to work on this, or have used to work on this, or any other car in the shop, check our Amazon affiliates link in the description below. If you purchase anything, we get a small cut. Don't forget Good Morning YouTube, also in the link below. Go check out their channel. And make sure to hit the subscribe button here because we have many more cool videos to come. Thanks for watching.